Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the True Story News podcast, and I'm gonna do it. I promised myself that I wasn't gonna do this anymore. I was gonna move away from dropping too much information, talking about conspiracies, true conspiracies that most people are not ready to hear, because it's doing myself a disservice. You could see the drop in support because people can't handle what I'm saying when it comes to certain things, because they're not on that vibrational level yet where some things don't make sense to people, and you got to respect that. And if you're trying to help people and raise the collective vibration, you can do things more strategically and not just throwing truth bombs at people that people are going to be like, what the hell? You got to level up to certain information. If you're not on that vibrational level to hear certain things, it's going to sound like madness, and it's like, I see that happening a little bit with dwindling support from certain people and groups because they just don't understand, it is what it is. But it's a badge of honor, and it's true of all my intellectual heroes. At some point, if you keep dropping truth bombs and stay consistent with the truth, the masses are going to think you're crazy. It is what it is, that's why most people who know things, they don't talk so I talk too much, and I realize that, I've been doing that, and I have to be more strategic with sharing information and putting it in videos like my main channel, which is like people who thought they didn't agree with me after watching my video on any video I make, because it's done using my skill and my talent and putting things together with effort, with research, with, care and time. If I'm just talking and throwing things at people, they don't get it. It's like, oh, this guy's nuts. I'm not crazy. It's just the truth is not really accepted in this realm, in this matrix that we live in, because we're so dumbed down and kept from knowing things that when someone's on a vibration to know what's going on, it's not going to go over well with people. So although I'm going to refrain from doing that, I do have to speak on this issue, and I'm going to speak on a few more issues before I get back to the format of video essays and well put together videos and blogs, and just stick to that. I'm going to talk about the Alex Jones situation because there's a lot to talk about. Almost always, anytime there's someone that is attacked and the media and they're just coming down on this person, most usually there's a reason. And most usually the reason is unknown by most people. But there's a very, very specific reason why Alex Jones is getting a lot of attention right now, and why this Sandy thing is they're hanging him by the situation. Alex Jones, by proxy, Alex Jones represents all conspiracy theorists, and they positioned him to be that, to be that representative of anybody on the internet that's saying things not supported by legacy media, saying things that are conspiracies, and that's why many people in the truth communities believed him to be an insider, really secretly serving agendas. He's part of the machine. I'm not saying that, because I'm no longer telling people my opinions, because why do that? So don't come for me. I'm not saying that. I'm saying a lot of people have thought that, because he came onto the conspiracy theorist scene by secretly being and filming at the Bohemian Grove. For those who don't know, Bohemian Grove is where a lot of world leaders, they get together and they do these weird rituals in robes and costumes and naked, and do these things, dancing in front of the owl, the burning owl, and doing all this weird stuff. And most normies don't know anything about anything. But people in the conspiracy or truth communities, we've known about that. Like the world leaders getting together all the time in secret things that they do. And Alex Jones being one who got into the Bohemian Grove and filmed some of what was going on it actually bolstered his cred, so to speak, on these conspiracy streets. And so he became like this thing after that in conspiracy theory truth communities. But some were suspicious, like you got into there, like, and you're still living and breathing. So a lot of people are skeptical that, that just doesn't happen. You don't just get into those places and you're still walking around breathing, filming world leaders, or you're getting into something that's not going to happen. You're an insider. And so a lot of people believe that, whether that's true or not. He started to become prominent as a leading conspiracy theorist. And one of the things that people need to understand, whether you're into that stuff or not, who cares? A lot of the stuff that he says was actually true. A lot of the stuff that he says is true.
I say this many times, and I'll say it some more. Give me that later.
You got it, Fred.
Alex Jones, he's made some mistakes and some big ones, but he's also actually exposed some real shit, and he owns up to the mistakes he's made. He was talking about Epstein a long time ago.
I know.
A long time ago. He was saying there's a fucking island, and they take all these rich politicians and some celebrities, and they bang these kids. And I was like, come on. He was telling me this a long time ago. So he's also the one who told me about Bohemian Grove. Well, I actually watched it. I think this tape was actually made before I met him. So he went and snuck in to this place where like former presidents go. There's a photograph of it's Ronald Reagan with Herbert Walker Bush and a couple other people all standing around. And it's like, these are the people that used to hang out at this place, and they would put on robes and they would worship an owl god, and they would burn an effigy. And they're playing, and Alex snuck in and made video footage of this shit. And then no one's denying that it's real. This really did happen. They're in with these bankers and former presidents, and they're dressed like druids.
Yes.
And some guy brings over something it's an effigy that's supposed to be a body, a wrapped up effigy. It's also a bunch of sticks in a blanket, but it's like shaped like a body.
Yeah.
And then they drop it on the fire, and they're all worshiping an owl god.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff is real.
Take what's real and throw out the rest.
There's a good chunk of it that's real. Like, I remember he was telling me that there's governments using chemicals that turn frogs gay. I was like, what? What are you talking about? He goes, yes. He goes, pesticides are turning frogs gay. And I'm like, that can't be real. No, there really is.
Is that true?
Yes, there's pesticides that change frogs' genders.
What?
Yes. Yes.
But
some pesticide fucks with frogs' genders.
He says a lot of the things that the other conspiracy truth community people were saying. And he amassed a huge platform, which is why some people are suspicious of that. But he says a lot of the things that the other truthers were saying. And it's true. He was talking about fluoride in the water. He was talking about chemtrails. He was talking about all these things that we all talk about and know. But what's consistent with a lot of these inside people who are, masquerading as truthers is they always say something a little bit off the wall. They say whatever, and I'm not saying that this is true of Alex Jones, but it is true with his narrative. Like, he'll say all the things that the truth communities are saying, and it's facts, and he becomes huge and popular. And then he'll just say one thing that's just a little bit, the hell? And then he goes in and gets a little carried away. And the Bilderbergs, they're gonna, and
Bilderberg.
not saying that it's not true. It's just like, most people can't handle that. So you're not doing anybody any favors by releasing that information, because people can't handle that. That's just way too over their heads. And this thing that you're saying is just way too out of this. You're gonna be laughed down by normies. And that's what the system wants. To prop somebody up, to be the voice of all truthers, and then get to that moment where you smack him down. And normies are so easy to manipulate and control in the system. They know that. They're easy to just get out of the way because you can just manipulate them. The media can manipulate the masses very easily. And all you got to do is get a good soundbite to one or two things that this person has said that is outrageous. And it's not hard to find with Alex Jones. And they use that to knock him out. And the mindset of the normies, they can't dissect and separate things at all. They will throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Is it fair to say that what InfoWars represents, this conspiracy view of the world full of nonsense, that it's spread everywhere, that it's spread outward, so there's not one InfoWars anymore, there's 100 versions of it across the web. Is that fair?
I think I would argue that the conspiracy culture is something that is, created through the cracks of our regular society. It's not built from conspiracy outwards to racism and violence and all of that stuff. It's the desire for racism and the like that leads to conspiracy. That kind of situation.
So this is done strategically. Another one, David Icke, he's masterful at speaking, and he gives so much truth bombs and knowledge and wisdom, and he does it so eloquently. And you can't deny it. Doesn't matter who you are or, what you're into. You can't listen to him and not be captivated by his information and understand that even if you don't ride with a lot of what he's saying, a lot of what he's saying is truth. It's fact. And it's counter to legacy media. But you have to respect it. But then he'll go on to talk about reptilians and reptilian races. And I'm not saying that it's true or not. I'm not offering my opinions anymore. I'm not saying that it's true or not. That there's people in the, European monarchy and celebrities that are actually reptilian. I'm not saying that. But I'm simply saying that him saying that, it's a lot of normies just can't handle it. So even though he said all these things that it's just wow, it's facts, it's just captivating information. Once he gets to that, the normies are out, and they throw out the baby with the bathwater every time. And these people get so popular. And if I got to their level of popularity and influence, I would probably, let's just say it's true, even if I knew about the reptilians, probably would opt not to include that. Let me just drop seeds about that, but I'm not going to include that with my narrative because it's going to lose people. This is the stratagem that they do. So there's a lot of people who feel that Alex Jones was, insider. But whether he is or not, what they're doing with him is making an example of him. And they're going to punish him, and they're going to drag him, because let me tell you the truth. There are a lot of orchestrated mass shootings. The powers that be know that. There's a lot of them. I'm not sure about Sandy Hook. I'm not touching that subject. And if he is, saying things that are disrespectful to people who are really victimized, that's kind of a bad situation. I didn't choose to talk about Sandy Hook, but there's a lot of things that I said about mass shootings that weren't real. And little old me, they can't do a damn thing to me because it's facts, and I have the evidence to prove that, everything that I said. But that's the danger of saying things half-cocked. I don't know about Sandy Hook. I don't know what evidence he had or did not have to say what he said. But regardless, they're going to use that and come down on him like a blitzkrieg. And it doesn't even have to be true. They can Bill Cosby you. And even if it is a staged event, according to legacy media and the government, and it happened, and we're coming for you. And he's getting Cosby'd. He's got to pay. And people have to understand that the truth is what they say it is. So whether he's for real or not, it doesn't matter. He's on the chopping block right now. And what's happening, why this situation is getting so much attention, is because by proxy, they're doing it to everyone in the truth community, everyone who's out there on the internet saying things that are true. Like, mass shootings, a lot of them are orchestrated or in concert with, some kind of agenda, pushed by the intelligence agencies. That is true. That is true. Like I said, I have many videos on that on my main channel. And so they're attaching that narrative to Alex Jones right now, and they're pushing it front and center. And by doing that, Alex Jones they know what they're doing. Alex Jones is representing all conspiracy theorists. I'm a conspiracy theorist, and I say that proudly. Because if you're not a conspiracy theorist in 2022, you are a moron. It's like, what else do you need? If you're not a conspiracy theorist in 2022, where are you? Are there no conspiracies that are true? None? Your government is telling you everything? There's nothing that your government is doing behind your back that you don't know about? Nothing? They're telling you everything on the media. They're telling you everything you need to know, the government.
Now there's just certain people I have no time for. Like if you're sexist or homophobic, or if you don't believe in conspiracy theories. I just don't understand, how do you not believe in any conspiracy theories? I understand not all of them, not most of them, but you don't believe in any conspiracy theories? You just think the government's just batting 1,000 and telling us the whole truth? That's a strong stance to take.
I proudly adopt the label because that's what I am. If you're not a conspiracy theorist, the hell is wrong with you? Where are you? Where have you been? It's like Tuskegee and all these things that the government has been doing secretly, and I've talked about it. Video after video when they sprayed an area in the town of St. Louis with gases secretly to see what the hell was going to happen to these people. Government did that. Government was secretly doing these things too. And don't think this Tuskegee was the only thing. And this Tuskegee was for 40 years. You could do something for a year and somebody catches it. You know what? This is wrong. No, for 40 years, they were secretly doing this. And they also did it to other populations of people in Guatemala and other places. So many files on what the government was doing behind, our backs. CIA, the mind control, LSD experiments. They were doing all sorts of stuff. If you're not a conspiracy theorist, you're a moron. Sorry. So, yeah, they're using this Sandy Hook thing with Alex Jones to say, here's the leading conspiracy theorist who thinks crazy things that, the government is staging things to push forth agendas. We would never do that. And this crazy Alex Jones guy is talking madness. And you know what? They're going to show you the grieving families and they're going to make him pay and they're going to drag him. And this is what this public theater is all about. It's coming after everyone by proxy. They do these things by proxy. When they jump on one guy, it's not about that one guy. They can give a damn about Alex Jones. They're coming for his narrative. They're coming for his prototype. They're coming for his platform that is set up like mine. Counter legacy media. Counter popular opinion, they are doing this strategically to destroy it. And all of us with him, they do things strategically by proxy. And, this is what I mean to say with this video. We're waking up fast, and they keep doing these same tricks that shouldn't work. They shouldn't work anymore. People should be hip to the game, how they do things, and they are losing control. That's why they just the video before this, they removed it because I talk too much, and I expose things too much, and they're like, "Yeah, man, we got to get this guy out of here." It's like, it's plain as day what I'm saying, what they're doing, and what they want to do is control the mind of the masses. They want to control popular opinion. So they give you the public theater. They give you this, this cold narrative, and they're going to demonize him. And they're going to show you pictures of him scratching his head, admitting, Alex Jones admits it's real. And they're going to do this because they're doing this to all of us. They're not going to do this to me. They're not going to do this because I didn't say anything about Sandy Hook. I said stuff about a bunch of them that I can actually prove. They're not going to touch that. We're going to leave that alone. because they would make a star of me, and they don't want to do that. They're going to pick someone selected that's playing along with the plan, and said things half-cocked. And, they do these things. That's why a lot of the, movements of the day, people don't know who's secretly subsidizing these things. And they don't get people like me to become popular. They don't want that. They don't want that. I'm too prepared for this. And something like QAnon will become huge. You wonder why? Huge. And the thing, it's the same thing with QAnon. What happened was, like, a lot of the things that they're saying is truth. But the problem is they go off the rails when it comes to certain things. And when some parts of your message or what you believe is off, the legacy media plants that and exploits that and makes you a crackpot, makes you a fool. And the normies that don't think deeply about lots of stuff are easily thrown off the trail. And everything that they said is out the window now. Is there lots of pedophilia in Hollywood? Yes. And it ain't no Michael Jackson. So like just knock that off. Don't let me get started on that. They like to throw people to the wolves so that you don't look at this one, who's really the pedophile. So you leave Michael Jackson alone. It's not Michael Jackson. It's not Bill Cosby. There's lots of pedophiles in Hollywood. There's lots of pedophiles in government. There's lots of pedophiles in several industries. And what QAnon was saying was actually true. But their mistake is where they go wrong. What they did was they went after certain celebrities. And I'm not saying what they said wasn't true. I'm saying you don't go after things publicly and make claims when you don't have enough evidence to support what you're saying. You can't do that, even if it is true and there's enough empirical evidence to prove that case. You can't go after Will Smith or some kind of popular celebrity with weak evidence and make a bombastic claim. You can't do that because you're going to get crucified. I'm not saying that it's not true. You can talk about it off the air. You can talk about it, privately in groups and amongst people and compare notes. But when you don't have the evidence, you can't run out there and push this stuff because the media is waiting for you and it's going to chop your head off. And that's what happened. So they made a lot of claims that could not really be proven soundly. Was there empirical evidence? Yes, there was. But you can't just go say, Oprah and, what's his name? God damn it, I'm forgetting people's name. Forrest Gump. Well, all these people are pedophiles, and a lot of these people went to Epstein Island, and this, that, and that. You have to treat the masses like little babies. So you have to have concrete facts for what you say and what you claim. And if you don't have that, you shouldn't go public with it. And that's what QAnon did. And they also had lots of ridiculous things, and they were making this hero out of Donald Trump, and he's gonna drain the swamp, he's gonna do this, and he's gonna clean up it was nonsense. And they let groups like that get popular for a reason, so they can swat that down too. And the masses are very easily manipulated and controlled by those tactics. You get these people to say, let's just say I'm talking the truth. And I have a small channel that talks the truth. And I have a very tiny channel and I just talk about what I want. But people who come and discover me know that it's facts and everything that I say is true. What if there's lots of people like me that are well-researched and provide factual information and I'm an independent researcher, and I bring facts forward and then drop truth bombs. And let's just say there's a lot of people like me. The government will look at that, and intelligence agencies will look at that and be like, nah, yeah. So they'll resurrect someone to be just like me, put all this money behind them, and he'll say all the things that I'm saying and all the things that all of us are saying, and has a platform that gains so much popularity because, wow, this is the truth. Wow, this is truth. And then that same guy that they subsidize says, yeah, and, aliens from the planet Nebula are going to come and, they're going to implant their eggs in the mind of all the world leaders, and then they're going to take over the world, and then the normies are going to be like, and I'm going to be like, oh, wow. It's like, I think I'm going to just close my platform now. But, we got to wake up to all their tricks and schemes. They're weak, they're lame, they're easily, you can see, well, I'm not going to say easy to see through. A lot of people still can't see through these tricks and schemes, but, this is what they do. The level of deception is so high level, high tech, so advanced that most people get lost and just knocked off the battlefield because they're just so trusting of legacy media and the mainstream narrative. Popular opinion is always in their pocket. And, they have ways of maintaining that. There's too many people like myself and too many people out there in truth communities that are talking and sharing information. They have to constantly have these systems in place to control popular opinion. But yeah, I'm going to keep my video short and focused on one topic. And this is the Alex Jones thing. I do have to comment on that so that people understand what's happening here. Don't get caught up and swept in these narratives and these highly publicized cases. Because anytime you see a highly publicized case, you should ask yourself, okay, what's really going on here? Because something most usually is. All right. So that's all I'm going to say for this one, guys. Guys, really, I'm making a lot of improvements. My mind is getting better because I'm treating my body better. I'm meditating on a regular basis, going to the beach or going to walk on the trails behind my yard. And I'm really being out in nature a lot, trying to maintain my workout schedule, eating right. Hey, I'm vegan, you don't have to do that, but, eating healthy, more fruits and vegetables in your diet, nuts, all that, water, drinking lots of water, it really helps. And that's what they don't want. They don't want you to be a critical thinker, smart, healthy. You don't need their poisons and concoctions. When you're strong and you're healthy and you're sound of mind and you feel good and you look good, you vibrate higher. You're more powerful and you know things, and then you get to be at a frequency level, a vibrational level where you're getting knowledge and download and at that level that you don't need to listen to this clown in a mask telling you to do this, and this, because you feel better, you're stronger, you're powerful, and your mind is clearer, and you're more just well balanced. Try to cut down on the poisons that they throw at you. A lot of us are on prescription pills and we're taking things and we're doing these things that in the end, they're working against your mind. They're working against your body. It's what they want you to do. So eat right, live good, treat yourself good, get out in nature, meditate. And that's the way to F the system. They hate that. They hate powerful, healthy people. So strive to be that. All right, that's all for this one, guys. Until the next one, be well.